Good evening, everyone. It is 5:34. I now call this meeting of the Parks, Recreation, and Arts Commission to order. City Clerk, would you please take roll call?
Commissioner Barraza. Commissioner Collier. Commissioner Dolan is absent. Commissioner Duran.
Present.
Commissioner Kucharski is absent. Commissioner Miller.
Present.
Commissioner Trio.
Present.
Vice Chair Ward is absent. Chair McCoy.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. So we do have a couple of absences, so I would like to go ahead and make a motion to excuse Vice Chair Ward. Do I have a second? Thank you. All in favor say aye. All opposed say no. Motion passes. We do have Commissioner Kucharski absent today. I would like to make a motion for her absence to be excused. Do I have a second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion passes. We also have a Commissioner Dolan absent today. I would like to make a motion for his absence to be excused. All in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Oh, wait, I didn't get a second. You forgot to get a second. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. Motion passes. For Commissioner Dolan. We will now begin the Pledge of Allegiance. Will everyone please stand? Ready? Salute. Vote for liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. We will start with the approval of the agenda. City Clerk, are there any changes or proposed changes to the agenda?
There are no changes.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Madam Chair, may I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
In regard to one of the items that was added to the agenda, the one relating to the reservation policies of facilities, athletic facilities, the item is listed as a workshop, and so the question I have, and I sent a clarification request but did not get an answer from the city attorney or you, and that's for folks that are in the audience that wish to address that item. How do they address the item? Would they have to do it under public presentations, or what's the procedure for that?
I can always call public comments on the workshops and allow the public to comment. No? I've done it before.
I don't think, maybe the city attorney can clarify. I understood that in a workshop, the process is closed and there's no discussion from the public. So
Right.
if you could please clarify that.
Under unscheduled communications, the commission allows the opportunity during that time for anyone in the public to make any public comments regarding workshops. And those will come before we actually get into the workshop. So they'll have the ability to speak during that period. They'll have 3 minutes to make any comments they'd like.
Oh, I had the process confusing. My bad. So
It just as an observation, it doesn't make sense that we schedule a topic as a workshop when we know there's public interest to make comments. And if as the input is provided through the scheduled presentations, there's a disconnect that I don't think is really very good. I just wanted to make that observation, but obviously we have to follow the process, whatever that process turns out to be. So thank you, Madam Chair.
no problem, Commissioner Barraza. I think that a workshop for this topic right now is sufficient. And if we want to bring it back and have more discussion on it right now, if we're not satisfied with what we're hearing or we got other questions from our community members, we can bring it back and place it on the agenda as a hearing, and then we can allow the community to weigh in. But because this is something that was new and it was brought up, I believe it was just placed on a workshop, under a workshop item, in order for us to have a discussion and hear the regulations and the policies and the procedures from the Parks Department first.
Okay, thank you.
Agenda, approving the agenda, right? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the agenda? Thank you, Commissioner Miller. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Collier. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. This item is approved. We're going to move on to the approval of the regular meetings of June 16th, 2025. Are there any changes or proposed changes to the meetings from June 16, 2025, City Clerk?
There are no changes.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion.
Thank you. Commissioner Trujillo? Trujillo, thank you. Is there a second?
Madam Chair, is it possible for a commissioner that wasn't here to make a motion to approve the minutes?
Yes.
Commissioner Leon Barraza, I was able to review the minutes online and also review the previous agenda as well.
And they said yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I wasn't here last time. Should I vote no or abstain?
You don't have to. You can abstain if you would like. So do I have a second? I'll second it. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no.
Abstain.
This item is approved. We will now move on to subcommittee reports. This item is an item for discussion for the commission, and no public comments will be taken related to this item. Does the Cultural Arts Grant Subcommittee have an update it would like to provide to the commission? I know that we're going to be receiving a presentation from Dr. Chavez from the Fresno Arts Council, and Commissioner Ward is not present, so we're going to go ahead and move on to member reports and comments. As a reminder, this is a time for commission members to report anything they feel important for the public or commission to know, but it's not a time for discussion. Commissioner Barraza?
No, Madam Chair, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Duran?
Thank you. I want to thank everyone for the warm welcome and looking forward to the work.
Thank you. Commissioner Miller? Nothing from you. Commissioner Collier?
Nothing at this time.
Commissioner Trujillo?
Nothing to add.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, my apologies, but I wanted to welcome our new commissioners. I saw your names on the list of new commissioners, and we're excited to have a full complement of commissioners, and we're looking forward to work with both of you. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
for having us.
Thank you. Yes, that was going to be my report and comments, that I'm happy to have a full commission, and I'm happy to see new faces, and I'm excited to get to know both of you guys better and to get down and do some great work with you guys. So welcome. All right. We're going to move on to City Administration and Park staff reports and comments. Does anyone from the administration have any reports or comments for the commission?
I do. Good evening. I'm Jennifer Reese, Deputy City Manager, and I too would like to welcome our two new commissioners and just share briefly about them, starting with Commissioner Vincent Trio. He comes to the commission with an educational and career background in human resources, a lifelong resident of the city of Fresno, and a father whose family utilizes our city parks. And also welcome to Commissioner McKay Duran, a District 4 resident. I forgot to mention Mr. Trio is a District 6 resident, and McKay Duran, a District 4 resident with a background serving on the city's Fresno Youth Commission and completing an internship with the Fresno City Council through the Maddie Institute, and also experience with the Central California Food Bank, and an educational background with a master's from Cal State San Bernardino in public financial management. So welcome to both of you, and we look forward to working with you.
Thank you. Does anyone from the park staff have any reports or comments for the commission?
Thank you, Chair. Aaron Aguirre, Parks Director. Just wanted to highlight last week, we had our ice cream social at 18 of our locations. We did a lot of, marketing. Our team, Miss Gaitan over here with her marketing team, did a lot of creative marketing. And with that, just out of the 14 centers, we're still waiting on some attendance numbers to be tabulated. We had over 800 people come through our centers on Friday alone. In addition to that, we had our Fresno summer nights out at Romaine, which again attracted another few hundred. And then as we continue to move through the summer months, Camp Fresno continues to see our youth go up to Dinky Creek there and enjoy some day camps and overnight camps, in addition to our ongoing swim lessons and recreation swims. So everything in the Parks Department is full swing right now for the next few weeks as the kids enjoy the last few weeks of their summer break before they go back and hit the books. So happy to report that, our community centers, if you've come through, have seen they are at capacity and being utilized from 10 a.m. through 7 p.m. And then on the weekends till 5 p.m. You'll see our gyms packed with basketball, volleyball, and other just neat sports that they're playing. So just wanted to highlight, again, our team and all the great things we're doing, and be on the lookout through our social media platforms. You'll see some upcoming ribbon cutting ceremonies. Broadway Park Day will be coming up here in the next couple weeks. We recently opened Rotary East, the pickleball complex, a few weeks back, and more to come. So the cricket pitches, I know the community was eagerly awaiting, are on the horizon as well. So a lot of great things going on, and a lot of new amenities that will be open to the public for use. And I know they've been patiently waiting. We thank them for that, but can't wait to get those up and running and our community back at our parks and utilizing the facilities that have been down for construction. So that concludes my comments, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now move on to unscheduled communication. Is Mr. Balakian here? Please come up to speak. You will have 3 minutes. Commissioners, he's going to speak to these pictures.
All right, good evening, Commission. My name is Adam Balakian, and last month I spoke about our weekly community tennis program that we run out at Roding Park. We bring together people of all ages and all skill levels together to come together and play tennis. And it's a free event. Everybody's welcome. We provide the equipment, the balls, the rackets, everything. And as I said last month, earlier this year, our shed unfortunately burned down at the park, so we've had nowhere to store our equipment since then. And last month, Mr. Barza asked what we've been doing in the meantime, how we've been getting the equipment to the park. And I actually provided some pictures this time for the commission. So I think those pictures were printed out for you, but if you look up on the screen, that's a picture of my car. And it's full to the brim with equipment in the trunk, the back seats, and that's just my car. Other people are bringing stuff out as well. And like I said, if we were able to get a storage shed out at the park, it would allow us to focus less on transporting equipment and more on actually focusing on the program and the participants and the community. So after speaking with the commission last month and Mr. Aguirre, it's our understanding that the next step in this process is going to be getting something in writing with the Parks Department that's going to say that the Roding Park Tennis Club is taking ownership and responsibility for this storage unit. And then at that point, the Parks Department, it's understood they won't be liable for any sort of vandalism or damage or content stolen out of the shed, which is totally fine and understandable. Since the last meeting, we've scouted possible locations and identified a spot, which is picture number 2. Other picture, please. There we go. So between courts 4 and 5 is a proposed location for the shed. And this is an ideal spot. It fits in with the aesthetic of the park. It makes good use of dead grass, and it stays clear of all walkways and paths. And it sits neatly in an unused corner while keeping everything accessible. It's near the courts, and it's organized. We also have a visual representation, which is the third picture I provided, that shows the footprint of the shed. It's a 10 by 10 shed, and it takes up little space while improving the aesthetic of the park and serving an important function for the community. And down the line, could even look into maybe adding some drought-resistant plants or something nearby or next to the shed to further beautify the park. So again, we understand that the next step in the process is going to be getting something in writing and approval from the Parks Department. And once we have that, we're ready to raise the funds. We're ready to get this going, get this in motion, and hopefully have some great results for the park. And this isn't just about storage. It's, again, about the program. It's about the community. And we could all work together on this to keep growing this positive area for everyone. And thank you, and I can answer any questions if there are any.
I have a question. You said you're going to raise the funds yourself?
Yes, and as I told the commission last month, we're totally looking to fundraise this ourselves. We're not asking for any funds from the Parks Department. We're just looking for the approval to get something in writing, so that way we can start fundraising, which we totally believe we would be able to raise all the necessary funds, but we can't do that until we have something that says this is where the shed is going to go, so that way we can start asking donors to contribute.
Thank you.
Thank you. Parks Director Gary, I have a question. How long or are they able to get approval if they're going to raise the funds themselves just to be able to have the storage shed there?
So we'll need to go through that process, which will require agreements, risk management, insurance, and everything else that's required. We'll work with our legal team, our risk management team on that placement. We'll have to work with our planning and building department as well, any necessary permits that we'll have to. So it's not just here's a letter, you're good to go. There are some other steps that we'll definitely communicate, but those are the things that we'll need to look at internally before we give the blessing or the okay to proceed.
Okay, thank you. No further questions from me. Any other commissioners?
Madam Chair, you probably already explained this, but I'm curious, what is your current relationship with the Parks Department for the use of the tennis courts? Or yes, do you have a permanent reservation of the facilities, or is it because the facilities are open to the public, you can use them anytime? I just want to know, what is the official partnership that the City Parks Department has with you?
So we don't do any sort of reservation or anything, because the courts, the program, like I said, is free to the public. So we just come out and play. We don't impede on anybody else using the court. So if other people are there first, that's not a problem. They're welcome to join us, or they're welcome to continue playing by themselves. We have had conversations with the Parks Department about maybe looking to make it some sort of city parks event if they're interested in working with us on that. And that conversation has been ongoing for a while, which is totally fine and understandable, because there's a lot of moving parts there. But so far, we're doing this on our own, and we're just trying to make the most out of the space when it's available.
How do you do it to ensure that you prevent the occurrence of unsafe or violent incidents? Do you ever have any problems with, fights or issues out there at the crowds that may gather to use the facilities?
The whole time that we've been out there, which has now been for 6-7 months, I've never seen a fight or any incidents of violence. Again, we're just out there playing tennis, so it's not really too heated or anything. But the whole time I've been there, never seen an incident, and even with the people around that are in the park, there's never been any conflict.
And you have not adopted any portions of the park. There's a program where I think it's not called Adopt a Park. I think it's called something else.
I think you're referring to the Love a Park program?
Right. So does this organization have a role in maintenance and update or upkeep of the facilities there, or is it still the Parks Department totally in charge of it?
So I think your question is, are they reserving the facility, which they're using that, like many others, on a first-come, first-served basis. The maintenance of the facility still, the mowing, the edging, the irrigation falls on the Parks Department. Now, any organization that comes out and reserves a sports court, a field, has the option to reserve that with the Parks Department blowing off or chalking lines on a softball field, or setting up, the goal post, whatever that may be required. But in this case, with tennis, volleyball, pickleball, where the nets are permanently fixed, most groups just come in. They do run the risk of, coming out there and somebody having a reservation not being able to use it. But in a lot of cases, I believe Mr. Blake can probably confirm this, the courts are relatively open. We have the 11 courts that are there that I believe in the mornings when I drive through there are open, and you do see people occasionally playing. I don't know what the volume is on our reservation for that facility. We can get you that, but I don't think we've seen a lot of conflicts with Mr. Blakey and any other tennis folks going out there. You know, I believe they use it first come, first served basis. There have been times where I believe they had a tournament and went through the reservation process with insurance. But I think for what they're doing, I believe it's just kind of sporadic and kind of hit and miss, and they come out and use the facility, as I mentioned, on first come, first served basis.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have a question for Mr. Aguirre. What's the time frame for putting all this together, let's say, end product? Like having the shed ready and done?
I think it really kind of falls on what we're looking at, what we're comfortable with, and of course, we can come back with a better outline of what that would look like. But without seeing a lot of details as to the need for I know it's a 10 by 10. What is it? Wood? Is it metal? Is it going to require footings? Things of that nature. I can't really answer that yet. Once that information comes, we'd be happy to circle back and have a detailed schedule at that point.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, would any other member of the public like to speak on any issue within the jurisdiction of this commission? You will have up to 3 minutes. As a reminder, if you would like to comment on scheduled workshop items, now is the time to make those comments. If you would like to make a comment regarding any of the scheduled hearings, comments will be taken when each item is called. I do have a couple of cards up here. First person I'd like to call is Gabriel Lozano.
Good evening, members of the Parks Commission. My name is Gabriel Lozano. I'm part of the unhoused community. I wanted to speak on a lot of different topics, but one of them is the agreements about the parks and use of facilities. One of the complaints that I've heard is that we made the decision to take away an agreement with a soccer group. But as I see what this gentleman presented something, we haven't even decided the whole package yet on what we're going to do, but we're taking away an MOU and agreement and so forth, and what are the responsibilities. It happens to be the soccer at Pillabo's Park. 93702 is 95% Latino. 93703 is 85% Latino. 93727 is 60% Latino. So generally, the public's taking it as something that's racially motivated. And that's the perception. I'm not saying it is, but that's what the perception it gives. And that goes against what the city's trying to envision, the one Fresno concept. Just not a good thing to do. The second thing is that I'm a lifelong resident in Southeast Fresno, and I know the Pillabos family who donated the land there. I went to school with them and so forth. So I have contacted them. We talked. One of the problems I see is that, look, I don't condone any negative behavior. And as far as Roding Park, how do we know that nothing's negative happened there? Has anybody seen any data from the police? Where's the police at to provide such data? We just don't know. We take it for face value that this person said there's no incidents, but there could be some incidents that we just don't know. Where's the data at? The second thing, so as I mentioned to you that I'm part of the unhoused community right now, I have slept at different parks or near the parks, and I have seen a lot of violence. We talk about holding groups accountable and having MOUs and so forth. Well, some of the things that happened, my family has tried to use the facilities at Pillabos, and they've been aggressively harassed by the unhoused community and that are addicted or with mentally ill. And the other thing is that I've observed the park rangers. We need to have them, what's their role in all this? What's their hours? What's the responsibility? How are they, where's the data? What's the reports that they're doing? All I've ever seen them do is stay in their vehicles, look around the park, and drive off. I've seen a lot of physical damage along the fences. I put in Fresno. The next day, it's gone. There's a lot of damage. So I think that there's a lot of responsibility. There's money in Measure P now, so we have to have that type of.
Thank you. Can you wrap it up? Because they're going to cut your mic off.
I just think that, I think I'm part of the person that did the Southeast Park on Peach, and I hate for it to, this is a long thing, but I'd like to bring more community members to have something constructive so that we get more than just my opinion.
Thank
and
you.
so forth. Because I think that risk management and all that good stuff, I think this meeting was held like this because of this, but we need the community's input.
Thank you. Camila Sutherland.
Good evening. Thank you, commissioners. I am here to talk about, I had some questions about Measure P that I'd like to propose to you so you can help us out. But I have to say, first of all, thank you to all of you, because the Roding Park tennis courts are awesome. They are bringing a lot of people out to play. As Adam was saying, we're playing every day, and there are people during the day, in the evenings. But a couple of things. We've got the futsal and the pickleball courts getting ready to be put in on the 3 courts that are not being used yet. They're part of the plan. Just wanted to find out when that was going to be started. It was supposed to be earlier, but I know with funding and everything, it gets delayed. So I wanted to let people know because they're coming out to the courts and chalking the tennis courts and putting tape on there. So if we could help them know when these are going to come, that would be great. Another thing I wanted to check with the commission is they have programs through the Parks Department. Tennis is not a big one, but there's a lot of people playing tennis out there now. We're working with our juniors to get programs out there. High schools are coming out to practice there during the summertime. The Fresno State coach wanted to come out to Roding Park to do the wheelchair tennis because they have access there. With all this, and parents are bringing out their kids, but when I was younger, we used to come out there and play. We didn't have to worry about anything. The bathrooms right now are just not very nice. They're going to be updated. Just wanted to find out what the date was going to be on that, when they're going to start, when it would be completed. And I did have one suggestion, if I could present it to the board. Instead of facing the street, if they could turn the restrooms around facing the tennis courts, because a lot of unnecessary behavior is happening in that with our unhoused people. And the park rangers are another thing that has been really a positive thing, but we could use more at Roding Park, as the gentleman said. We've had a couple of instances, nothing, deadly, but we have called the non-emergency police, the 311 numbers. They come out, but not always at a quick time. So last Tuesday, we've had a person come out there walking through the courts while they're playing, just with his backpack. But we don't know what's going on with those. And Adam did call the 311, park ranger came out about a half hour later. They're also sleeping on the courts in the morning and on the tennis sidewalks there too. Our park rangers are trying to do the best they can to get people out of there, but my big question is, what is considered unhoused? These are people that have tons of stuff with them that the park rangers go and remind them. I've seen them, you need to move your stuff, but it takes a long time for that to happen. So my thought is we've got a lot of programs we'd like to see going and work with the Parks Department to have out at Roding Park. And I can't thank you enough. The courts, everybody's talking about them. So they say, what can we do? Parents are saying, get the bathrooms fixed so I can let my kids come out here. So can I answer any questions?
No, thank you.
One thing I could ask, if Aaron could, I'll make it real quick. A kiosk, we have a kiosk up there that the parks put up for us. We post tennis lessons, stringers, or people out there. But I wanted to post, because everybody's asking, when are the pickleball courts coming? If we could post, like we've seen here before, what it's been. First there was going to be 8 courts, then I heard 4 courts with the futsal courts, with the patio tables and the trees and all that. And if I get a post, or something I could post up there in the kiosk to let people know. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, since this is the first time that we have translation services into Spanish, may I say something in Spanish so that folks that are here know that there's translation available?
Sure.
Quisiera informarles a las personas que no entiendan el idioma inglés que hay servicios de traducción al español, así que si desean hacer una presentación en español, la pueden hacer y esa presentación se va a traducir para informarles a ustedes de eso. Y bienvenidos a los que hayan acompañados. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome. Anyone else in chambers would like to make a comment under unscheduled communication? Do I have anyone online?
There are no speakers online.
Okay, I will close unscheduled communication and we will move on. We will now move on to workshops. ID number 25-1000, workshop overview of the Parks Athletic Facility Reservation Policy. Will someone from the Parks Department please begin the presentation?
Do you have the... Thank you. Good evening. Hi. Good evening, Commissioners. Jennifer Solis, Assistant Director in the Parks Department. I'm here tonight to present the informational workshop on the department's athletic facility policy and the application process. Okay. Tonight's agenda does include, kind of just the purpose of the policy, the implementation of the policy, and the rollout process. I'll outline the policy, just give you an overview, and then provide reservation data and information since the policy was implemented, and then looking ahead. The policy was created to provide alignment with Measure P priorities and ensures compliance with the Fresno Municipal Code. This is really the first formal policy for facilities that establishes expectations for reservation holders. The policy does also establish a reservation schedule to provide support to maintenance and the rest periods for grass fields. The policy was rolled out just over a year ago and effective on March 11th, 2024. We informed just about 120 reservation stakeholders, and they were notified via email in English and Spanish of the new policy, and they were invited to 2 technical workshops to review the new reservation policy as well as the application process. The information provided tonight is essentially what was presented to the stakeholders at that technical workshop as well. The technical workshops were held over 2 nights, so March 20th and 21st for 2 options. They were hybrid options, so in person and available virtually. Translation in Spanish, Hmong, and Punjabi were offered for the March 20th technical workshop, and March 21st was advertised and promoted to be a primarily Spanish workshop, and with English translation and Hmong and Punjabi as well. However, on the 21st, the organizations or individuals that showed up preferred the presentation be in English, and everybody agreed on it, so it ended up being held in English. So, okay, we'll go back.
It's Monday.
Tell me about it. Much of the elements on this formal policy were longstanding practices for the reservation process. The overview of kind of key elements of the policy are outlined here, and I'm just going to go over them briefly. The reservations are required for exclusive use of facilities. Reservations will take priority over non-reservation use, including drop-ins. The applicant or representative is responsible for all activity conducted during the reservation period by teams, observers, parents, coaches, assistants, referees, umpires, friends, families, visitors, vendors if they are stating that they are having those. So anybody related to or there for the activity, the applicant and representative is responsible for that. The applicant must be accessible throughout the application process as well as present at all times and dates of their event reservation. Reservations cannot be transferred to another organization. They may not be used for any other purpose than the reserved purpose that was stated on the application. Publicizing of events using our facilities do require a reservation. And then there are two different types of reservations. So the two types of reservations are either an occasional reservation or an advanced reservation. The occasional reservation, they're intended for individuals playing with friends or just a pickup game, come out and play type of use. Insurance is typically not required for occasional reservations. However, we do have standard waivers that will be required for the participants and the reservation holder. Occasional reservations can be made at any of our parks that have athletic facilities available. Any individual may reserve no more than twice per month for an occasional. Reservations for occasional requests can be made on the same day if they do call on the day during our operating hours, but no more than 4 weeks in advance. You can reserve 3 ways. You can go online, you can call our customer service line, or you can come into the Dickey Youth Center to make an occasional reservation. So the next type is advanced reservations. The goal here is really to ensure that reservations are confirmed in advance to organize recurring or planned activities. So this is really for the leagues, the tournaments, the clinics, camps, recurring practices. Advanced reservations do require insurance that meets the city's minimum insurance requirements. Advanced reservations are available to reserve 3 months at a time, and they do follow a quarterly schedule, an application or reservation schedule. So you can see here that we reserve October through December, and applications are due July 15th. They open up June 15th, so we did just close for the upcoming October through December requests. And then I'll get into the process in a little bit, but you can see here the calendar, they do follow that schedule. Athletic facilities are available to reserve from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. For all reservation types. Outdoor courts, indoor gyms, and diamonds are reservable all days of the week. And grass fields are reservable Thursday through Sunday, with the exception of the regional sports complex. So the regional sports complex facilities are reservable all days of the week, no matter the facility type. And the reservation time slots, they
Sharon, do you want questions after or during?
I think after would be best.
Okay.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. The reservation time slots are informed by the master fee schedule. Speaking of the master fee schedule, the fees all abide by the master fee schedule. The master fee schedule, as you all know, is updated annually and presented to the commission for your recommendation to council prior to any fee updates or changes. The courts can be reserved 1 hour at a time, and they're $5 per court. The indoor gyms have a 2-hour minimum per the master fee schedule at $90 per hour for private groups and $45 an hour for the nonprofit discount. Diamonds and grass fields are reservable for $25 for 4 hours. So $25 will get you a 4-hour time block, and nonprofit organizations do receive a 15% reduction if they have a valid nonprofit ID. Standard fees do accept the facilities as is. However, the master fee schedule outlines fees for tournaments, additional fees for tournaments, and then field prep if that is desired and requested in the application process. It is the responsibility of the reservation holder to notify the Parks Department of any changes or requests to cancel a reservation. We do require that cancellations or changes be requested at least 10 business days in advance of the reservation. And then if refunds are approved, all refunds are subject to a $15 processing fee. That's per the master fee schedule. The City of Fresno does reserve the right to cancel reservation facilities in emergency situations or when deemed necessary. That sometimes may be very hot weather or pouring down rain where it's unsafe to play. If the city does cancel a reservation, a refund will be processed for the organization. It is the commitment of the City of Fresno Parks Department to ensure that all park facilities are free from negative, aggressive, and inappropriate behaviors, and that the environment is geared toward providing high-quality programs, services, and facilities in an atmosphere of respect, collaboration, openness, safety, and positivity. We do want our parks to be enjoyable and used in a positive way. If the city does observe any activity that goes against our policy, the park rules, or code of conduct, we will follow a corrective action process. The following steps will be taken to address and resolve violations. So it's a step one would be a warning that they'll receive a written notice. Will go to the reservation holder, and then step two is a meet and suspend. So the Parks Department will meet with the reservation holder and then prepare an outline of circumstances, including terms and restriction of any facility. And the policy does also outline an appeal that can be submitted to the Parks Director. Like I said, it's further outlined in the policy. The application process that I'm talking about tonight is very specific to the advanced reservations, because the other ones I went over, you can reserve. It's just occasional. It's one to two times a month, online call. The application process is not as robust as the advanced. Ooh. Okay. So an application must be submitted for each park location. So if an organization wants to reserve three different locations, one application needs to be submitted per location. And you can find the athletic facility reservation application online. It is also made available in person if somebody does want to come in and fill it out on a hard copy. The application does require information as it relates to the organization, league information, primary and secondary contacts of the reservation holder. As I mentioned earlier, that reservation holder does need to be available at all of the reservations. And it asks also if there will be vendors or serving or selling food. It asks about publicizing events, and a lot of that may be necessary because sometimes that may require a special events permit. So we do collect that information up front in case it does, kind of require more additional permits than just a regular parks reservation. We do also ask optional information related to fees that are being charged to participants in the league or organization. It's optional, as well as a spot to upload insurance. As I mentioned, it is required. If they want to provide that up front, there is a spot. So for each application, the applicant acknowledges and confirms the payment terms, the scoring process, the indemnification and hold harmless agreement language. They also understand and acknowledge the athletic facility reservation policy, and then they sign and date every single application that is submitted. So applications are scored by a committee made up of park staff. The scoring topics they're all submitted within that 1 month window and reviewed together and ranked based on the criteria below, or the criteria outlined. So the scoring topics were put in place to further the purpose of Measure P and the goals of the Parks Master Plan. And the topics do include the youth and senior recreation, serving City of Fresno residents, and the benefit to the surrounding neighborhoods. And then the policy does also outline the details of if there are like a tie or same score, or if it's submitted after the time frame or the deadline. Just to give you a full year in review, applications, we rolled out the policy in March took applications for the first quarter starting July, August, and September of 2024. So this data goes through June of 2025, just last month. So happy to report there were 245 applications scored over that year. You can kind of see the breakdown by facility type. Some applications may include more than one facility, so if they requested a court and a field, it's counted twice on the total by type. But the total application scored is 245. Of that 245, 93 organizations submitted one or more application. The department was able to accommodate 67% of requests as submitted and requested. 17% of those requests were approved with modifications due to conflicts.
Can everyone please silence their cell phones, please? Thank you.
Thanks. So 17% of those requests were approved with modifications due to conflicts. So that may look like an organization requested 4 days out of the week, but we were only able to accommodate 3 days out of the week, or a time frame was different or it was already reserved and we were able to accommodate another time frame. So 17% were approved with modifications, and then 16% of the requests could not be accommodated. Looking ahead, I think just the plan is to continue to engage with stakeholders and collect feedback, make updates to the policy as needed, and then looking into technology improvements that include a website for our parks area staff as well as park rangers to be able to see active reservations in real time. So a lot of times, we want all of the staff and everybody out at the parks and rangers to know who has the reservation on this day, who's the reservation holder, who to be asking for, just to be better informed throughout the parks. And that's really all I have tonight, but I can answer any questions as it relates to the policy or application process.
Mic on. It'd be nice if I had the mic on, huh? Thank you so much for that presentation, Jen. I have a question.
Sure.
On the reservable days and hours, just for transparency for the public, why is it only the regional sports complex are reservable all days during the week?
Yeah, that facility is suited really for that type of play and that use. So grass fields do require a little bit more rest time or not as heavy of play during that time to allow for proper maintenance. And the neighborhood parks really aren't built for that type of play. So regional sports complex has different drainage and to accommodate those larger tournaments and the large play.
Just wanted to,
Yeah.
for transparency.
Thank you.
Also, I have a question, like when there is an application submitted for a reservation for a park within an organization or a league, right? Are they responsible for the safety of the park at the time, or is there provided security through the park? Because I know now we have our park rangers, but are they just there during their regular hours, or are there special hours when the tournaments are going on for them to be present?
I think definitely they're informed. So we do send reports out to park rangers and area staff so that they know what reservations are going on, especially if they're a larger tournament. And tournament does include some staff as well to be on site the whole time, because tournaments obviously draw in a lot larger crowds than regular games or practice, if you will. But right now we do send the reservation list to our park rangers and staff, so they do make their rounds while they're going on. I think the technology update with the website where they can access it on their work phones to be able to see and kind of have that information would be more helpful.
So pretty much internally, when there's like big tournaments, and we know soccer is a very popular sport in our city, and a lot of leagues use our parks and our regional sports complexes for these tournaments, that there are not special circumstances made or special things made in order for the park rangers to be just at those tournaments at that time.
Right now, that's not the case. Tournaments are a different fee in the master fee schedule, though, that will have staff there, like I said, the whole time that the tournament is going on. So that would, they'd be able to contact somebody and be out there during the tournament. But that's good feedback, I think.
And Chair McCoy, if you don't mind me adding to that, some of our, Jen mentioned special events, where we have something outside of the norm of a, regular, just a soccer tournament, baseball tournament. We go through that special events process depending on what they have, amplified music, things of that nature. In some cases, that may trigger the addition of security that the event holder may bring, or in some cases, may even require PD presence. So it really depends on what the host is preparing for.
Does it also depend on which park the tournaments are being played at because of the activity and because of our unhoused community that we have right now?
No, not necessarily. It's really more on the elements. In some cases, if, like I mentioned, amplified music or let's say alcohol was present, then we'd have to go through the ABC process, and PD has a certain ratio that they have to have, I guess, officers there based on the services that are being provided by the organization. So it really just depends. It's not necessarily on a facility, but as Jen mentioned, park rangers are notified of the tournaments and leagues. They have the ongoing reservation list. If we know it's a large event, we may, like for instance, we had one of our events where we knew it was going to be a large, and park rangers were roaming through there in addition to PD. So it really kind of depends. But again, it really kind of, it doesn't require us to have, security at this park in this area.
Okay. And that's why we ask a lot of questions on the application, because like I said, it may trigger a special event permit or something else, to Aaron's point.
So hypothetically speaking, if there was a tournament at a park and some unwanted attention or some unwanted activities broke out, will that fall on the sponsors of the tournament, even though it's not their fault? Would that still fall on them, and they may not be able to hold any more events at that park because of that? Because we have no control of the people at the park and who attends these tournaments. All we can do is control our players, our coaches, our staff.
Sure. If PD was involved, that would be up to the reservation holder to contact PD if they felt unsafe, or contact them. But as far as, are you talking about violations or something?
I think, Chair McCoy, if we had a park where, let's say, the baseball field was reserved and a fight broke out in a different portion of the park, then no, that's not going to be on that reservation holder. Okay. Now, if it's specific to the area, then again, your reservation policy is specific to what you're reserving. Now, if it's something outside of that area that pertains to a different area, different group of people that are there, then no, that wouldn't be held against the reservation holder.
Okay, just asking. Those are all my questions. Commissioner Barraza, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Some of the questions I have pertain on the responsibilities that you give to people. I know you pointed out that the person that rents the facility, pretty much you're giving them all the umbrella responsibility of everything that happens. And thank you, Madam Chair. You made a very good observation that things can happen that are totally beyond the control of that person. And for example, you have areas like the parking lot area. Mm-hmm. You have areas where the actual soccer fields are located. Well, where the soccer fields or any other sport or softball diamond or whatever, where they're located, without a doubt, the team or the party that rents is responsible for their players or whatever behavior they exhibit. Mm-hmm. But when something happens at the parking lot and something becomes an incident where you actually have to call the police, I think it's really stretching it to suspend that team for something that happens at the parking lot. The part that I think it's probably very difficult, and you could tell me how you do it, how do you establish the connection to that party that made the reservation when there are people there that go to see a a soccer game that are not related to anybody. Sometimes I'm driving by and I see somebody playing soccer and I just get off the car and I go there. So I have no connection with anybody whatsoever. Now, if you're making the teams responsible, then maybe you should require security officers to be hired or make it more formal. But it sounds a little bit unfair that you're throwing all the responsibility on the folks that reserve the facilities without really having a very definitive connection to people that might have done something that is not related to them. So if you could address that, that's one point I wanted to ask you.
Well, violations are staff observed or park ranger observed, so it's not hearsay. It's not, we take observations it's not if someone calls and complains or says something. The violations are based off staff observance or park rangers as well. Part of the policy is that the actions of all parties within that organization, if somebody's there to watch the soccer game or participate, referee, play, coach, their actions do fall under the reservation holder because they're there for that event. To what Director Geary just mentioned, if something goes on in another part of the park that does not involve the players or any of that sort, it would not fall on the reservation holder.
And again, I think as Jen laid out in the policy here, the first order is not a suspension. There's a written communication log there that is utilized. So it's not the immediate suspension.
Warning.
Right. So that's, and if we need to go through that piece again, we can. But I think that's hopefully enough to change the behaviors. And that's our hope behind that.
And then the other question I have, a series of incidents can actually lead to the suspension where a league may lose the right to make reservations, I would think, in the future. The question I have is, what is the appeal process, the review process? In other words, once, I'm assuming that maybe you Jessica, you make the recommendation to suspend somebody. Does then your director review what you did and make it a review of the action? How does that process work in the more official way?
Yeah, I mean, to the process of the step one violation, they will receive a warning letter talking about a violation. The policy outlines if the director does have the authority to skip steps if the action is necessary, if that ever got to a point where we had to do that. So the policy does outline that those steps will be taken first. I will also say there have been, in this first year, emails sent prior to a warning to kind of say like, hey, just heads up, we noticed this. This is, not within the policy. So we've definitely even taken it a step further to provide that extra layer of just like, hey, notification. We understand, we do have to hold the reservation holders to these expectations and expect that when a warning letter is sent, that they're taken serious.
So then when the action of suspension takes place, what is the appeal process? Do the teams, leagues have an opportunity to have someone else review your action?
The appeal can be appealed to the director for review and final decision.
But in the first action you took, did you consult with him already? So wouldn't that be the same system looking at the appeal? And shouldn't that appeal go at a higher level than the department head?
The policy outlines that process. So, if that's feedback that you're recommending, we can take that as feedback, but the policy does outline the process.
And what type of remedial action does the department take to help that team basically work together on the, it's like when somebody commits a crime, you know, they put them on probation and gave them a chance to fix things or to address the issues, especially if there's a good faith desire to fix things. Do we work with them? Because I'm actually, and I don't want to deal with specifics, but I think in one case that it actually happened, it's a league that has 150 soccer teams, and you multiply that by 20, that's quite a few members of the community. Add to that the families that go with them. I think it would really behoove us to find ways of fixing those problems if they're willing to fix. I have no problems with enforcing rules that we have to be enforced. By the same token, I think where there are opportunities to work together on things that impact the community at large, when I started getting involved, I didn't want to make this comment, but I'll make it anyway. When I started working with the sports activities and all that, I received some feedback from the soccer community that the city of Fresno was anti-soccer. And I said, no, that can't be, you know, they're good people. They want to help you, you know. But see the image that it projects when we don't, you know, when it appears that we're not making an effort to work with people. I just wanted to make that observation. But I also wanted to talk a little bit about the condition of the parks, because as recent as yesterday, I went to Pillow's Park, and I noticed that we just put brand new grass on that thing. A lot of money was expended, Measure P money. And the place looks terrible already. And then one thing I didn't like was there was a big area that had a hole, and it was filled with water. That's totally unsafe. And I would be very concerned about the liability for our city of Fresno and folks that people be able to play under those conditions. And I hope that there's a review process when the facilities are reserved, that somebody's checking them to make sure they're safe, or maybe just put a red tag and say, this facility will not be used until it gets improved to the condition that is safe. And I'm specifically referring to Pillow's Park. So I'm not kind of generalizing about the condition of the parks. There are very beautiful parks that don't have those conditions. In fact, I went to this, the one on Broadley and in Clinton. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name. And that particular park is beautiful. It's in very good condition. And I mean, but I don't know if it's because it was adopted by the folks that I think the Punjabi community adopted that park, I believe. But anyway, the point being is, if we could work together to make those parks, continue to make them as safe as possible for everybody. I wanted to make, because we're talking about reservation of facilities, you know, that's something that came up. The other, I don't know if there's a way to connect, but remember that we recommended to the council to set a fund to reduce the cost of using facilities for low-income communities. Remember that? I think it was like $250,000, and maybe it was doubled to $500,000. But the question is, I noticed that you give a discount already to nonprofit organizations, which is wonderful. But I wonder is that reduction of the cost of using facilities, is that included in the rental charges, or is that a separate component that you guys don't connect?
You're talking about just the reservation fee itself. That does allow for the discounts that I mentioned earlier for nonprofit organizations.
Commissioner
I don't
Barraza,
know
I
if
believe you're referring to the youth fee waiver?
Yes, the
Correct.
fee waiver.
Right, so that's for our youth.
Individuals?
Correct, that then can be a part of our programming at a discounted rate. So let's say a youth basketball league is $75, and those who are eligible for that youth fee waiver, that fee's dropped down, is it 20, Jen, or 25?
20.
To 20. So
So would that be only for activities that are organized by the city of Fresno?
Correct.
correct, yes.
Okay. All right, then, and the park rangers, how are they doing? I mean, are you using them for those type of events so that at least they see a person with a uniform and maybe they'll think twice if they, that's one question, but the other one is, I know that the other issue that I hope we can do something about it is the sale of beer and beer consumption at parks. And I've seen it personally, and I know, and I brought it up at a previous commission meeting, and I hope that that's something that that we become more creative, work with the leagues. They're willing to work with you if you let them work with you. And by the way, I wanted to point out the soccer leagues have their own rules that if a person fights in a sports event, they get penalized and they're removed from the league for 2 years or something. And that's actually a good thing. So why don't we encourage more of that where for the sports groups help us and we work together with them in enforcing things rather than just knocking them out and say you can no longer use their facilities. And that's kind of a little bit cruel. That's my opinion. Madam Chair, that's all I have.
All right, thank you. I'm gonna throw you guys a lifeline. I know when things are not working properly at the park, there are signs that's put up. I've seen them. I've seen the yellow tape. I've seen the little street signs that's covering if it's a hole or whatever, like do not enter here until it's fixed. I have seen that as well. We have no control of how people use the park when they go to the park. We have no control. We have a big unhoused community right now, so we have no control of that either. So there's going to be some damages to the park. There's going to be some things that was nice when you guys put it in, and now when we go to the park, they're not as nice as they were. So yes, we have to do a little bit more maintenance, and that's why we have the passing of Measure P, so we can be able to do those maintenance and keep up on the park, because without the passing of Measure P, we wouldn't even be breaking ground on some of the new parks that we're breaking ground on. So I just want to throw you guys a lifeline. I don't do that very often,
Thanks,
but I'll do that tonight. I want to go ahead and go to...
I wanted to thank staff because they did an excellent job of covering a lot of areas. And thank you, Mr. Chairman, Director and staff, Jessica.
And I also want to say that I think that the city of Fresno are big soccer advocates and soccer fans. So we love soccer in the city of Fresno. Wish that we can have the love of all sports like that, but soccer is a very popular sport right now and it's being played in all of our parks. So I don't think that our Parks Department is unfriendly with the soccer community. I think that we have made a lot of changes, and every time we're building a park, we're making sure that we have soccer fields and that they're adaptable for football and baseball and other activities. So just wanted to say that as well, and I wanted to go ahead and see if Commissioner McKay has any comments regarding this item. No? Okay. Commissioner Miller. Commissioner Collier.
Yes, I just have one question. I think it's clarified in there, but I wanted to make sure. When they apply, do they have to have an insurance rider?
Yeah, so the advanced reservations, the ones that reserve up to 3 months at a time, so they're reserving on like every Thursday, Friday, Saturday for 3 months at a time. We do require insurance for those reservations.
And Jen, that's only
Or
if they're
tournaments.
successfully selected, not
Correct.
at the time of application do they need the insurance. It's once they're awarded the reservation, then they will need to have the proper insurance to fulfill the reservation.
Correct.
And
Okay,
they do have a
and then
certain timeline.
30
Is
days.
it 30 days?
30 days, yeah.
And then the park rangers, are they there during the evening for events going on at night?
We do have our park ranger schedule, we have reservations all throughout the city. We have a lot in an evening especially on a weekend.
And you're booked accordingly.
Yeah, so they're making rounds. Like I said, they are shared the schedule, making rounds as best as they can with staff as well.
Thank you.
Commissioner Korcharski. Commissioner Trillo.
No comment, just excellent presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
Chair, do you mind like 2 minutes? I know we got a long, it'll be quick. Give me a minute then.
Go ahead.
So as you all know, as part of the budget process, landscape maintenance came over to the Parks Department. So that just started about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. That will allow us as a group now, as a team, to really manage the turf in a different manner than before. I think Commissioner Barraza brings up an excellent point, and something that we've been trying to do for a number of years, even when I was in Public Works, is the resting of fields. We have so many needs out there for green space. How do I take a field offline and really impact the neighborhood? So those are things we're working on. Light schedules. Maybe it's leaving half the field lit while we aerate seed and run our turf management program. So I think those are the things there that we are continuing to look at. And the question was, how do you go about Pillowboast being one of them? A lot of play happens out there. You turn the lights off and people will find creative ways to get lights out there to continue playing some way, shape, or form. So working with them, we put the orange snow fencing up. My 10-year-old daughter can kick that stuff over. So to your point, it's a good opportunity, but it's something that we, need to get out to the community, that this is in your best interest to allow this to rest, allow this to take its course and establish the turf. So those are things that we're continuing to work on. If you look at the sports complex, you look at what we've done there with the amount of rest we've been able to give those. The compliments we've received on the look and feel of those is outstanding. So that's ultimately where we'd like to go. But again, there are some restrictions that we are working with. Nobody ever wants to see a park taken offline, especially valuable green space. If anything, we're looking to add more lights. You'll see lighting projects coming on that will activate more green space that is used for soccer. Collegian Park up in D2 is on the verge of having the lights completed, which will add another lit soccer field to our inventory. So those are the things that we continue to explore, and those are the things we continue to build towards, to allow, it's 100 degrees outside, who wants to play at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, right? So recognizing that, you look at a lot of our new park designs, and sports lights are part of that standard package. So those are the things we want to continue bringing to the community, whether it's soccer, football, baseball, cricket, you name it. Those are the things that we want to continue building towards. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, we will now move on to another workshop, ID number 25-1001. Workshop Quarterly Progress Overview of the Expanded Access to Arts and Culture Grant Program Process, fiscal year 24 to 25, quarter 4. Would someone from the Fresno Arts Council please begin the presentation?
Good evening, Chair McCoy,
Good evening.
members of the Commission, Lilia Gonzalez Chavez, Executive Director of the Fresno Arts Council. I'm looking at that and seeing different type, but that's okay. Before I begin my presentation, I would like to invite the Commission to a celebration at San Pablo Park this Saturday at 10:30. While it's not a Measure P project, it is a partnership by the Arts Council and the City of Fresno and the Green California Initiative that Governor Gavin Newsom instituted in the state of California. And we have 12 artists that painted 20 pillars in San Pablo Park. And San Pablo Park is a city-owned park, and we're looking forward to improvements to that park with Measure P funds. So this first step was with the state of California and the Fresno Arts Council. So we invite you to that celebration. It's really pretty awesome. It's at San Pablo Park which is on San Pablo and Belmont. My presentation today is, again, routine. It's the fourth of our quarterly updates. And how do I make it move?
There you go.
Got it. Okay. In April, we continued to make several site visits. You can see there various places that we visited. I would encourage the commissioners to also make site visits when you can. All of the events that are supported by Measure P are publicized on social media as well as the Community Alliance publication. So you can actually see a schedule for when these things are happening if you pick up a Community Alliance, and those are free. So we have several events happening in the community now. The Arts Council was very active in providing technical assistance meetings for EAAC applicants. Applicants also had a group training in April. The letters of intent closed on April 11th. They were received and processed. We had technical assistance meetings for grantees, and the PRAC subcommittee was provided with communication of the information received in the LOIs. And the Arts Council continued to provide regularly scheduled drop-in opportunities for applicants to get assistance. In May, that work continued. We had more grantee site visits and an EAC grant workshop for emerging and established organizations. The Measure P subcommittee communications occurred again, discussing LOI issues, and we also continued our technical assistance and support. In June, the full applications were due on June 11th, and we had 3 workshops for panelists to prepare them to review the applications. We provided more technical assistance to grantees and received quarterly reports on June 30th from grantees. We also fielded application questions and continued our one-on-one workshops. We will begin to review applications next week. So of all of those that submitted an LOI, then followed through and submitted a successful application, those will go to panel review next week. Thank you, and I'm available for questions.
Well, thank you so much for that update. Looking forward to seeing who has been granted money to continue the awesome work that they have been doing in the arts community. I have no questions for you, but I'm going to open the floor up to the commissioners. Commissioner Collier?
I don't have a question, but having worked as an arts administrator, I know the extent and the depth and the sweat that you put into doing this. And thank you, Lilia, to you and to the Arts Council and all the people that worked on this project. Appreciate it.
Just have a very quick question. When will we see the list of all the projects that got selected and got funded?
after the review process, so in September.
Oh, okay, so that's going through right now. And the next round, maybe I'm too futuristic. When is the next round happening when we again open the doors to the community for new applications?
We're hoping to turn this around quickly. Just as soon as the commission accepts this year's recommendations, we will get agreements out, and hopefully we'll be able to have new applications open in late October or early November.
Thank you very much.
And I think that we pretty much have a handle on it, so it shouldn't be like how it was before. It was very new, we were very green, so I got my fingers crossed as well that it'll be a smoother process so we can have a quicker turnaround and get more people to start applying so we can continue this work.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. Dr. Chavez, just wanted to compliment you on San Pablo and Belmont. I went out there twice last week just to view the murals, and always amazed by the talented artists we have here in town. I took my daughter out there who loves to draw and paint, and she got to meet one of the muralists, Morrow, and he took the time out of his day to show her how to blend paint. Didn't know who I was, didn't know who she was, but really saw what he was doing. And I think it made an impact on her, but more importantly, just the transformation of that park. That's a Caltrans right away, and just the transformation that it's made. I think the battle you're going to have now is the people are asking me when are they going to do the pillars on the south side of Belmont. So great job. It looks great, and looking forward to the others that are going on throughout the city.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Morrow is great.
Yeah.
Very awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
Any other questions for Dr. Chavez? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we will now move on to hearings. One of the most important hearings of the night. Hearing number ID number 25-942. Hearing election of chair and vice chair to the Parks, Recreation, and Arts Commission for fiscal year 2026. Would any member of the public like to provide a comment regarding this item? You will have up to 3 minutes. I have no cards. Do I have anyone online?
There is no one online.
Okay, I will close public comment, and we will now call for nominations for the chair. Are there any nominations for the position of chair?
Yeah, I'd like to make a nomination to have you reserve again. You've done an outstanding job, and you kept everything in order, and I'd like to nominate you.
Thank you,
for
Commissioner
chair.
Kalia. Do we have a second? Do I have to go through all and ask for any other names, or how we do? I need to get a second?
Need to get a second on this one, and then you'll have to ask if
And then
there's
go through the whole process again?
any, if
Okay.
there's any other nominations.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Commissioner Peraza. Do I have to do all in favor?
I guess you would also ask if there's any other nominations for
Okay,
that
just
position,
making
and
sure.
then, yes.
Are there any other nominations for the position of chair? No? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Well, thank you, people, for voting me again for chair. I appreciate it. Do we have any, we will now move on for nominations for the vice chair. Are there any nominations for the position of vice chair?
Yes, I nominate Ms. Ward for vice chair. She also seems to have done a good job. She's only had 1 year under her belt, and I thought it would help to give her another year. Not a whole year. She had part of a year, but I nominate her.
You second that, Commissioner Barraza? All right, do we have any other nominations for vice chair? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. All right, we have to let Vice Chair Ward know that she will be serving another term. She has no choice now. We already voted. All right, we will now move on to the next hearing item. ID number 25-940, hearing to receive public input on expanding access to arts and cultural grant program. Would any member of the public like to make a comment regarding this item? You will have up to 3 minutes for this comment. Welcome, Mr. Morales. You will have 3 minutes.
Hugo Morales, founder and co-executive of Radio Bilingüe, and I just want to say the Major P on the arts side has been very exciting. I know Radio Bilingüe and ACTA have been producing some, I think, unique productions. I know Mr. Jose Leon Barraza was one of them at the Roosevelt High School Auditorium a few months back, where artists composed their own music and presented it in public. And it was broadcast, recorded and broadcast on Radio Bilingüe throughout the country. So it's just wonderful to see it performed in Southeast Fresno. And then followed up a month ago, another event here at the Memorial Auditorium, a full house. A lot of the youth shined with their arts, so I want to thank you for all that support. And I'm looking forward to also being witness to the panels. I understand they're open to the public, so I look forward to participating. I mean, witnessing, not participating, witnessing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have no other cards. Do we have anyone online?
There are no speakers online.
Thank you. I will now close public comment. Does any member of the commission have any comments or questions regarding this item? All right, we will move on. ID number 25-941, hearing to receive public input on allocations related to Measure P, updates to the Parks Master Plan and Cultural Arts Plan, and annual Parks Department budget and capital improvement plans. Would any member of the public like to make a comment regarding this item? You will have up to 3 minutes for comment.
There are no speakers online.
I will now close public comment. Does any member of the commission have any questions or comments regarding this item? All right, I will go ahead, and it is 7:01. As always, I would like to adjourn the meeting in the loving memory of Dr. Francina Puda. She is greatly missed. And thank you for coming out, and enjoy your evening. Thank you.